Good morning and welcome back. I need you to stop what you are doing right now and pay incredibly close attention because what I am about to share with you could literally change the entire trajectory of the rest of your life. I am not talking about some vague hypothetical someday. I mean, starting today, starting this exact week. I am Dr. Harold Meyers, and welcome to the Dr. Harold Meyers Advanced Health Channel, where we take the most current, cutting-edge, science-backed research in longevity and senior health and translate it directly into practical, real-world tools that you can actually use. After more than 2 decades working as a physician specializing in geriatric medicine and longevity research, I have sat across the desk from thousands of patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Over those years, I have watched them make the exact same critical mistakes over and over again, quietly, completely unaware, without ever once being told by a professional that they were doing anything wrong. These are seemingly harmless daily habits that are secretly and slowly stealing their physical strength, clouding their memory, eroding their independence, and draining the vibrant joy they have every single right to keep. Today, we are changing that narrative forever. Here is exactly why this matters so deeply to you right now. A landmark, highly respected study published by the National Institute on Aging followed over 12,000 adults between the ages of 60 and 85 for 10 full years. The final findings were absolutely staggering. The participants who eliminated just 3 specific daily habits from their routines were 61% less likely to experience significant physical decline, 47% less likely to develop any form of cognitive impairment, and they reported overall quality of life scores that were nearly double those of their peers. Double the energy, double the happiness, and double the vitality. And perhaps the most powerful, inspiring part of this entire study is that most of these people made those critical changes after the age of 70. It is never, ever too late to reclaim your health. Now, I want to speak directly to you for a moment because I know exactly who watches this channel. You are someone who is paying attention to their body. You are someone who fundamentally refuses to accept that getting older automatically means getting smaller, less mobile, less sharp, and less alive. Maybe lately you have noticed that your daily energy is not quite what it used to be. Maybe your joints ache a bit when you step out of bed in the morning. Maybe your memory feels just a little cloudier than it did 5 short years ago. And that realization has quietly started to worry you deep down. I see you, I hear you, and I want you to know with absolute certainty that almost everything I just described is not a fixed destination. It is simply a direction, and directions can be changed at any moment. Before we dive into the countdown, I want to tease something incredibly important. The number 1 item on today's list is an activity that almost every single senior does every single morning without even thinking twice about it. Most doctors have never told their patients to stop doing it because it is just that deeply embedded in our daily culture. So stay with me all the way to the very end of this video because number 1 might genuinely shock you to your core. Before we begin, drop your age in the comments below right now and tell me what is the one health habit you are most proud of maintaining in your senior years. I read every single comment left on this channel, and your answers directly shape the educational content I create while inspiring thousands of others who read them. Leave your comment now, and let us build this supportive community together. Now let us get straight into it. We are counting down from 7 all the way to 1, ranked from critically important to absolutely life-changing. Number 7 is eating 3 large meals a day. This one sounds completely harmless on the surface. Eating 3 structured meals a day consisting of breakfast, lunch, and dinner is exactly what your mother taught you, what every standard nutrition pamphlet still recommends, and what most of us have faithfully followed our entire lives. But here is the critical piece of information those mainstream pamphlets are completely failing to tell you. After the age of 65, your digestive system undergoes a dramatic systemic slowdown. Your stomach's gastric acid production drops by nearly 40%. Overall digestive enzyme output decreases significantly, and your gut's basic ability to absorb essential nutrients from large volumes of food diminishes drastically. So when you sit down to that big, heavy dinner plate, your body is simply not processing, breaking down, or utilizing it the way it did when you were 40 years old. Researchers at the University of Southern California's Longevity Institute conducted a fascinating study and found that seniors who shifted their eating patterns to 4 to 5 smaller, highly nutrient-dense meals, spaced evenly throughout the day, showed an incredible 34% improvement in protein synthesis and a 28% reduction in systemic inflammation markers within just 12 weeks. Think of your digestive system after 70 like a smaller classic engine. It does not actually need less fuel overall, but it desperately needs that high-quality fuel delivered in smaller, more frequent batches, so it can burn it efficiently without stalling out. I had a wonderful patient named Margaret, a 74-year-old grandmother who came into my clinic feeling completely exhausted, sluggish, and intensely bloated after every single meal. She was utterly convinced that something was seriously pathologically wrong with her health. When I thoroughly reviewed her dietary habits, I discovered she was eating one tiny, almost non-existent breakfast and then one single enormous dinner late in the evening, which is actually one of the absolute worst eating patterns you can force upon an aging body. We completely restructured her day into 5 smaller, vibrant portions rich in clean protein and healthy fats. Within just 2 months, her daily energy had completely transformed. She walked into my office with a massive smile and told me she felt like she had gotten 10 full years of her life back. The practical, real-world application here is incredibly straightforward for you to start today. Aim to consume a small meal every 3 to 4 hours. Each of these smaller meals should ideally contain at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. This is because after 70, your muscles become far less efficient at responding to protein intake, a medical phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. Because of this, you actually require more protein per pound of body weight to maintain your muscle than you did back in your 30s. Pair each of these protein sources with a small amount of healthy fat, such as a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil or half an avocado. Healthy fats drastically enhance your body's ability to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D and K, which are absolutely critical for maintaining bone density and a strong immune system as the years go on. Moving forward to number 6, we have taking long, hot showers every single day. I can already feel the immediate internal resistance to this one, and I completely understand why. A long, steaming hot shower feels amazing on stiff muscles. But please stay with me here because once you truly understand the biological reality of what is happening to your skin and your internal circulation after the age of 65, you will never look at a hot shower the exact same way again. As we naturally age, our skin produces significantly less natural oil because our sebaceous glands drastically slow down their output. The protective skin barrier becomes visibly thinner, more fragile, and easily compromised. Hot water, especially when you are exposed to it for a prolonged period, strips away the remaining delicate lipid barrier and causes what dermatologists officially call transepidermal water loss. In plain, simple terms, hot water actively dries your skin out from the inside out, causing microscopic tears and intense dehydration. A profound study conducted by top dermatologists at Johns Hopkins University found that adults over the age of 65 who regularly took daily hot showers lasting longer than 10 minutes had a 52% higher rate of developing chronic dry skin conditions and a measurably weakened immune barrier within the skin itself. But here is the exact part that concerns me most as a practicing physician. Hot water causes your blood vessels to dilate rapidly and extensively, which triggers a sudden, sharp drop in your blood pressure. After 70, your cardiovascular system's natural ability to compensate for these sudden, dramatic pressure changes slows down significantly. This rapid drop is one of the most underreported hidden causes of sudden dizziness, lightheadedness, and dangerous falls inside the bathroom among older adults. Statistically speaking, the bathroom is already the single most hazardous room in the entire house for individuals over 65. The solution to protect yourself is incredibly easy to implement. Lower the water temperature to a comfortable, warm setting rather than a steaming hot one. Limit your total shower time to 8 minutes or less. The moment you step out, apply a high-quality ceramide-rich moisturizer immediately while your skin is still slightly damp to lock in that crucial hydration. Furthermore, consider ending your shower with just 30 seconds of cool water. This practice is known as contrast hydrotherapy, and compelling research from the University of Oregon shows it dramatically improves peripheral vascular tone, enhances blood return to the heart, and significantly reduces overall feelings of physical fatigue in older adults. Next up is number 5, which is completely avoiding resistance training because of chronic joint pain. This is easily one of the most pervasive, dangerous, and destructive myths that I encounter daily in my medical practice, and it is actively costing millions of seniors years of their functional independence. The traditional idea that if your knees hurt, your back aches, or your hips feel stiff, you should simply rest, sit down, and avoid physical exercise sounds incredibly logical on the surface. However, modern medical science tells a completely opposite story. Your muscles and your structural bones exist in a dynamic, lifelong partnership. When your surrounding muscles weaken from disuse, they place vastly more mechanical stress directly onto your aching joints, not less. Avoiding strength and resistance training after the age of 65 drastically accelerates a natural but devastating process called sarcopenia, which is the age-related loss of skeletal muscle mass and quality. After you pass the age of 70, your body can lose up to 3% of its total muscle mass every single year if you are not actively engaging in resistance training. By the time someone reaches 80, a sedentary senior may have lost 30 to 40% of the total muscle tissue they possessed at age 50. That missing muscle is the exact biological machinery that keeps you perfectly upright, prevents catastrophic falls, keeps your metabolic rate functioning smoothly, and applies the necessary stress to keep your bones dense and fracture-resistant. A groundbreaking, meticulously designed study from Tufts University followed older adults between the ages of 72 and 98 who engaged in a twice-weekly program of progressive resistance training. After just 10 short weeks of this minimal intervention, the participants showed an average jaw-dropping 113% increase in overall muscle strength. They demonstrated vastly improved balance, significantly faster walking speeds, and in the majority of cases, a noticeable reduction in their baseline joint pain, not an increase. The brilliant researchers concluded that general frailty, not chronological age, was the true root cause of their physical decline, and frailty is completely reversible at any stage of life. I remember working closely with an 81-year-old patient named Harold, who came to my office deeply depressed and entirely convinced that his physical body was completely falling apart beyond repair. He had entirely stopped walking more than a single block from his house because his knees throbbed so terribly every time he moved. We started him on an incredibly safe, simple, chair-based resistance program utilizing light resistance bands just twice a week for 20 minutes per session. Just 4 months later, Harold was proudly walking a full mile every single morning without a single complaint. He looked me in the eye and told me he had not felt that level of physical freedom in 15 years. You can easily start this at home with seated resistance exercises using light bands or your own body weight. Focus entirely on the large foundational muscle groups like your thighs, glutes, and upper back. Here's a critical physiological synergy tip for you to maximize these efforts. Consume a protein-rich snack or meal within 30 minutes of finishing your resistance session. That specific post-exercise window is exactly when your aging muscle cells are most receptive to absorbing amino acids. For seniors dealing with underlying anabolic resistance, This precise timing is not just an optional bonus, it is absolutely essential to build and preserve your muscle. Number 4 on our list is relying entirely on over-the-counter reading glasses and completely skipping active vision training. Here is an eye-opening truth that the vast majority of traditional eye doctors never share with their patients. Vision, just like any other muscle in the human body, responds powerfully to active training and exercise. The physical lens of your eye and the tiny ciliary muscles that dynamically control its shape naturally weaken and stiffen with age. This is a progressive condition medically known as presbyopia, which is simply the official term for age-related near vision loss. Most people simply accept this as an unavoidable downhill sentence, get progressively stronger reading glasses every few years, and assume that continuous visual decline is completely inevitable. But those ciliary muscles are still biological muscles. Fascinating research published in the highly regarded journal Scientific Reports by an elite team at the University of California, Riverside discovered that just 30 minutes of daily near-to-far focusing eye exercises, when combined with adequate levels of dietary lutein and zeaxanthin, resulted in highly measurable objective improvements in reading speed, peripheral awareness, and overall visual clarity in adults over 60 within a matter of weeks. While this training will obviously not completely replace your glasses if you have severe structural changes, it can drastically slow down the rapid progression of visual decline and noticeably reduce your daily dependency on them over time. Beyond the physical lens of the eye, your brain's complex visual processing centers also begin to slow down as the years accumulate. After the age of 70, your natural contrast sensitivity, which is your brain's vital ability to distinguish distinct objects from their immediate backgrounds in low-light settings, decreases by up to 27%. This specific decline in contrast sensitivity is one of the primary hidden reasons why devastating falls happen in dimly lit home environments during the evening. Training your eyes daily with simple focusing tracking movements, ensuring you have adequate dietary zinc and vitamin A intake, and actively optimizing your home environment's lighting are all powerful, evidence-based health strategies that most seniors are simply never taught by their primary care providers. If the information on this channel has ever given you deep insight into your body that your personal doctor forgot to mention during your brief checkup, please take a brief moment to hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It genuinely helps our educational mission reach more seniors worldwide who desperately need this life-changing information, and it costs you absolutely nothing at all. Moving into our top 3, number 3 is consistently sleeping more than 9 hours a night or relying heavily on pharmaceutical sleep aids regularly. This point surprises a lot of people because we all know that high-quality sleep is foundational for cellular healing, and it absolutely is. However, the precise relationship between sleep architecture and the aging brain is far more nuanced and delicate than most people ever realize. And getting this equation wrong is quietly devastating brain health for millions of older adults globally. A massive, incredibly comprehensive study tracking data from Harvard Medical School followed over 14,000 older adults for more than 8 consecutive years. They uncovered that seniors who regularly slept more than 9 hours per night had a shocking 46% higher risk of experiencing rapid cognitive decline and memory loss compared to those who consistently slept a structured 7 to 8 hours. Now, this is not because the physical act of sleeping is somehow toxic to your brain. Rather, it is because chronically long hours spent in bed are very often a major clinical symptom of incredibly poor sleep quality rather than truly deep restorative rest. That poor quality, fragmented sleep is characterized by constant micro-awakenings and a severe lack of deep, slow-wave sleep, which means the brain continuously fails to clear out the toxic metabolic waste products that naturally accumulate within its tissues each day. Your brain possesses a brilliant, literal self-cleaning system known to science as the glymphatic system. You can think of it as a highly efficient nighttime sanitation crew that forcefully flushes cerebrospinal fluid through the brain tissues, removing dangerous cellular debris, including the sticky amyloid plaques that are directly associated with Alzheimer's disease. However, this critical cleansing system only operates effectively during the deep stages of sleep and is most active during the first 6 to 7 hours of a proper sleep cycle. Spending 9, 10, or 11 hours tossing and turning in bed often means you are spending hours trapped in fragmented, light, superficial sleep stages that produce absolutely none of this critical neuroprotective clearing. Furthermore, when it comes to chemical sleep aids, especially common over-the-counter antihistamine-based products containing diphenhydramine, the modern medical research is deeply alarming. A major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found a highly significant direct correlation between the regular use of these common nighttime medications and a heavily increased risk of developing full-blown dementia. These synthetic molecules easily cross the delicate blood-brain barrier, drastically reduce levels of acetylcholine, which is the key neurotransmitter responsible for learning and short-term memory, and with repeated daily use can cause lasting, irreversible changes in your fundamental brain chemistry. I remember a lovely patient of mine named Dorothy, a 78-year-old retired school teacher, who was regularly sleeping 10 hours a night, but still waking up feeling utterly exhausted, heavy, and unrefreshed. She had been taking a popular over-the-counter sleep aid every night for over 3 years. When we ran comprehensive cognitive and memory assessments in my clinic, her baseline scores had been quietly and steadily declining year over year. We carefully and safely weaned her off that medication entirely, introduced a strict, structured 7-hour sleep window, added a highly bioavailable magnesium glycinate supplement right before bed, and thoroughly optimized her bedroom environment. Within just 4 months of this routine shift, her cognitive test scores improved significantly, and she told me with tears in her eyes that the heavy mental fog she had been living inside for years had finally lifted completely. If high-quality sleep is a constant struggle for you, focus heavily on maintaining perfectly consistent sleep and wake times every single day of the week, including weekends. Keep your bedroom temperature quite cool, ideally between 65 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Completely avoid looking at electronic screens for at least 60 minutes before your head hits the pillow. Consider taking 200 to 400 milligrams of high-quality magnesium glycinate 30 minutes before bed and pair it with a warm cup of organic chamomile or passion flower tea. This natural combination creates a beautiful, safe synergy that powerfully supports GABA production, the brain's natural calming neurotransmitter, giving you deep rest without any of the dangerous neurological side effects of pills. Number 2 on our countdown is drinking significantly less water simply because you notice you feel less thirsty throughout the day. This may very well be the most widespread, overlooked acute health crisis among seniors living today. The primary reason it is so incredibly dangerous is precisely because it is completely invisible. You do not consciously feel it happening to your body until it is far too late. Let us look at the underlying biology of why this occurs. As we naturally age, the hypothalamus, which is the specific command center of the brain that regulates your primitive thirst drive, becomes progressively less sensitive to changes in your blood volume. By the time you reach the age of 70, most adults possess a significantly blunted, muted thirst response. This means you can be clinically, dangerously dehydrated on a cellular level while feeling completely fine and not desiring water at all. A stark study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition discovered that up to 40% of community-dwelling seniors over the age of 70 are living in a state of chronic, mild dehydration every single day and have absolutely no idea. Even mild chronic dehydration in older adults is directly linked to a 30% increase in the occurrence of painful urinary tract infections, which are a leading, well-documented cause of sudden, severe cognitive confusion, delirium, and emergency hospitalization in the elderly population. It heavily increases your risk of developing painful kidney stones, chronic debilitating constipation, and dangerously high concentrations of prescription medications in your bloodstream, because so many common daily medications are water-soluble and rely entirely on adequate bodily hydration to maintain safe, predictable blood levels. Running low on fluid throws your entire system out of balance. Research from King's College London demonstrated that even a tiny 1 to 2% dehydration level, a deficit far too small for you to actually feel as thirst, measurably reduces short-term memory capacity, tanks concentration levels, and slows physical reaction times in older adults by significant amounts. The universal target for most seniors is to consume 6 to 8 full cups of pure water per single day, consumed consistently in small sips throughout the day, rather than chugging it all at once, which just strains the kidneys. Keep a 32-ounce water bottle clearly visible on your counter at all times of the day, and make a firm, non-negotiable commitment to finishing that bottle twice by the time the sun goes down. Add a very small pinch of mineral-rich Himalayan pink salt or a high-quality, sugar-free electrolyte supplement to at least 1 glass of water daily to drastically improve cellular absorption and hydration efficiency. Pair this daily drinking routine with water-rich, hydrating whole foods such as crisp cucumbers, fresh watermelon, and dark, leafy greens, which provide what science calls structured water, a form of fluid that absorbs into your cellular matrices far more efficiently than plain tap water alone. And now, we have finally arrived at the exact moment I promised you earlier, the number 1 slot on our countdown. This is the single most destructive thing that almost every single senior does every single morning of their lives that is quietly, steadily eroding their physical health, shrinking their brain, and actively stealing their long-term independence. That one specific thing is sitting down within 30 minutes of waking up. I know you almost certainly did not see that coming. Let us look closely at what the latest clinical science shows, because it is genuinely remarkable. The human body possesses a powerful, natural hormonal phenomenon that researchers officially call the cortisol awakening response,